Hi, everybody. This is Julia, and this is UX Untamed. And it's September, and I'm super excited, mostly because I took the whole August off. Yes, I needed some vacations. But the whole topic for September is something that has empowered so much my career. And I think myself as an immigrant community has been always that big building block that has helped me in so many different ways. So September is going to be all about how to build communities. And the panel for today is Latinx. I couldn't believe that I have met them all and they're empowering the community in tech here in Canada. So instead of me talking about them, let's invite them over. So here's Luis, Marjorie, and Leticia. Hello, hello. How is everybody?
Hi, hello.
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Great. Great to be here.
Yay.
Correct.
Okay. So why don't we start telling people who you are? Let's start by Luis. Who are you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, my name is Luis Berumen. I am UX designer, as all of you. I'm in Calgary. Yeah. What can I say about me? I've been in Canada for 14 years and designing for 20. Yeah, I have a dog named Cookie and a wife here. My pronouns are he, him, and you can pronounce my name any way you want to because I noticed that I also did a typo on my
Yes,
name
it's like
too. So I was like,
Luis.
So also, something else you should know about me is that I'm dyslexic, so I don't know how to type and I don't read text. So it's Friday. Let's put it that way. But I think that
It's
that
Friday.
that typo says everything about me.
Thank you. And I didn't know about your dog. How is that you haven't told me about your dog before? What kind of dog?
Oh, she's lovely. She's a border collie. She just drives us crazy. Wakes up us 6 a.m. in the morning and keep us exhausted and tired until midnight. And yeah, she's the loveliest piece of heaven in earth.
Love
She's
it. Next time we have to see pictures. Okay, so
oh, you have opened the Pandora's box, you know?
yes, send
Yeah,
them over.
you need
We
20
want to
terabytes of information.
nice. Thank you. Marjorie, what about you?
Yeah, so my name is Marjorie Castro. I am also a UX designer, research lead, and I've done some design management as well. My family is original from Ecuador. I was born in Canada, and I've been doing design about 15 years. Started out with web development, web design, and moved with the industry. What else? Pronouns are she and her. And my fun fact, I think you got me there. I'm going to go with maybe at some point in my life, I used to do drumming with a Afro Brazilian troupe. I guess my husband leads the band, but I have retired for this year. So yeah, that's my little fun fact.
So you just got retired for this year? So you've been
I'm
doing it
gonna retire for the foreseeable future. It's been about practically the whole year. I just feel like you have to learn a lot of things. So I don't think I can take on a little bit more than that.
totally makes sense. Love it. We can put a band. I don't play anything, but let's do it. Next year. Next year. Leticia, what about you? Oh no, you're mute. Are you mute? No, you are not mute. Oh no, I cannot hear you. Oh no. Hmm. No, what happened? We heard you before this. Yes, I think you were good. Let me hide you and then you come back. Let me see if it's that. Okay, let's try that. We used to have two Leticias before, so that's what happened. But meanwhile, you jump into one of my favorite questions. And I was going to say to Luis, I hope that your fun fact is not cookie, because you say that already. So what is a fun fact or unique fact about you?
I always had issues with fun facts because some people are like, oh yeah, I climbed Mount Everest, but my fun fact is like I can I can write with my right hand, but I cannot cut. I cannot use the scissors with that, so I use my left hand. And yeah, because yeah, I don't know. So I think people this is what happened. I was left-handed in kindergarten at that time. In the 80s, they kind of forced kids to use the right hand. and they just never noticed it. Actually, I kept using my left hand for scissors for cutting the stuff, So that's my fun fact. It's not Everest, but that's the funniest thing I have.
That's
Is
so
I feel like that's like a South American thing.
Yeah.
This. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember having to learn with both of them.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
it's even funny. My fact is now not even.
Love it. Love it. So that means that you can cut with the two of them, yes?
Exactly.
Much better with the left.
Honestly, sometimes I practice eating with my left just for kicks because you never know.
You never know. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I should use that for a diet, and I know how to be less proficient.
I love it. Thank you so much for that again. Honestly, this is one of my favorite questions ever because people always surprise me so much. Okay, while we wait for Leticia, I don't see her here on the side. Okay, so what does it mean community for you? Yes. What about you, Marjorie?
Community for me means, having love, love.
Maybe let's
Love,
work the mic. Talking. That's what it is. Let's give it a try.
Can I talk? You can listen to me now?
Yes, I think the mic.
Maybe let's use it.
Yes, let's go with the first. What is with the mic with the return?
I don't know.
Leticia,
It happens. It happens all the time. We are designers. We don't need to do IT, right? Like this is not work. This is not our work.
I
Nice.
I feel like it's the one that is doubling up.
Maybe. I don't know. You can listen to me correctly or no? Okay, that's good. That's good at least. Okay, my name is Leticia. I'm gonna be short, sweet. My pronouns is she and her. I am originally from Argentina and I live here in Vancouver, Canada. I am based here almost 4 years. I just get here before pandemic, 2 weeks before. And my role currently is I have three roles, I will say. The first and most important one is I'm a mom. I have a little one that is there in the kitchen that I have some, like time for her after this call. And my professional role, I am UX designer at Alita. And I am the president and founder of ITER UX, which is my nonprofit. That's the community. That's all.
I'm so mic on. It's me, but I don't know. Yes, but I don't know. I'm so afraid because I will leave too.
You are what?
Is that better? Maybe is that better?
Yeah. Maybe.
Is this better? Is this better?
There's still I have it too.
Oh my goodness! What it is?
Luis,
can you? I don't know what it is. I feel like I have to come back and see what happened. Wait. I'm afraid. Hold on. Back.
Okay, we can discuss. How is your microphone, you guys?
Okay.
There you go. I think that's better.
I don't know what it is for real. Oh,
Hello?
yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. Yay!
Nobody touched anything.
Okay, nice.
Turn it off worked.
Thank you so much. Okay, sorry for whoever is watching and listening us. We were having some tech issues, but we did it. We made it happen. Okay, so the topic about today, we're going to talk about community. And what I like about this panel is like all of us we are Latinx, and all of us we live in Canada, and all of us are in tech. So is let's start with the first question. Like, is what is community? What does mean community for you, Marjorie?
Yeah, so I was saying for community for me means to have, a group of people that are interested in something that you like, you all have in common. But most importantly, it's that support that you gain from being in this community, and like you have a space to kind of be yourself, share the things that other people love, you support each other, you give back, and you also get something in return, in different ways, professionally, but also like spiritually, life building skills, all these things. So just having that support for me, community means having support, which is really nice, and it's a support that you chose, a space that you like, that you've looked out and seeked yourself.
I love the part about like you chose. Yes, it's something that I feel like at least for the four of us, something that we can have definitely chose. Leticia, what about you?
Okay, for me, community is how can I start? Like, is where a place where you belong, is a group of people where you belong, where you feel supported. Like what Marjorie was saying, you feel stronger because you feel you share the same values, you share the same problems, you share the same journey, and you feel supported by the others, and at the same time you can do your own thing to grow that community. Even though your community has some problems, your community has in a good position. You just share all the problems, all the things that is happening. The community could be in a church, community could be in a for a brand, or could be for a non-profit, or could be for a particular UX community, or it could be just for different other things. But it's belonging, definitely something, the most important one.
What about
What
you?
about you?
Well, my idea of community has changed a lot over the years, and most likely it's going to continuously evolve and modify. But I have obviously agree with Leticia and Marjorie, but I also feel like a community is the original way we solve problems. Like, for example, in the very beginning, obviously we are by ourselves, we couldn't survive, right? So we figure out ways to create groups and alliances and culture and processes. Way before we had any sort of companies or governments or structures that were more legalized over the time, right? But I think it's easy to forget that if we just look at our set of necessities and we see everything from the most basic to the most ethereal, all of that is in relationship with how we interact with others, right? So I really want to feel like a community is pretty much a mirror of whatever you want to get out of that and whatever you give out of that, right? So that's maybe a very let's say philosophical answer, but yeah, at the end of the day, it has to be a place where you have that space that maybe you don't have at work or you don't have at home. It has that third area that at some point, especially in Canada because of the weather, you need to find others, right? And it's not that easy as just sit in the corner and wait for a friend to come. You need to be very specific about it. So yeah, that's my long definition of community.
Marjorie, did you have something? I heard you like almost going to say something. No,
No,
no.
I was
Okay,
agreeing.
okay,
I
nice.
really, yeah, I really like that explanation. It really
Yeah,
resonated
love
with
it.
me.
Yeah, like I mean, again, everything that we are in a community, even sometimes if we don't like it or not, or we choose or not. But I think again, for the four of us, we have really chose the communities that we are part of. I
Mhm.
know that Leticia, you already share a little bit what part of community you are, but let's say it again, and mostly because I'm going to ask you, can you share a little bit about how you start your journey and how you motivate yourself to start your own community? And in
And in
that,
that,
tell us
tell us
the
the
name
name
and when
and
did
when
you.
did you? when did I start it? I mean, this is something that coming from Latin America. It's something that we are not used to it. We don't know what is the meaning of a community itself. Not before the pandemic, or not that I have aware of. We just it's your neighbor, it's just your place, and there is not a community name or comunidad in Spanish, right? So when I came here in Canada, I just thought, of course, it was pandemic, no, but there is no nice story in the pandemic, so my story was not good as well, and so I have to put myself really hard there to connect with a lot of people while learning English, try to learn any UX job, design job, or whatever, and because we were just immigrant, and my husband and I were alone here, and locked in Canada. So I started connecting with so many people. Turns out that I was learning for so many levels. I cannot stop counting. And what people are giving to you, what I realize is like, this is power. I mean, what people are having their minds is power. If they want to share with you, this is even incredible opportunity. So like, that turns out in a name, like what we are doing, like what we actually doing, and I put the name Mitre UX. What is it actually UX? What we want to do in Mitre UX? What is actually UX itself? So, and there are like people were coming and coming, and in a year we might have not even a year. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but we have 1,000 in the end of the year. Is like, why is that even possible? And what the people want from us, what they need from us, what I can give it to you. So it's like, it's the same, because they give me so much that I feel the responsibility of giving you back again, right? So that's I think that is keep me motivated, because again, it's like, it's a relationship between so many people I don't know yet, but I feel I know, because all of them has the same problem that I had. So is that the same kind of round of belonging in the same not bubble, but in the same problem, I will say, right? Yeah, that's my story, I believe.
Thank you. Marjorie, what about you? And the thing is, I know that your community is a little more located in a city, the same as Luis. I feel like for Leticia, it's a little more. I will say that it started like as Vancouver, and then came across Canada and the world.
For me, or for her?
For you, Leticia.
No. I was asking the same. Is even important for me to just grow in Vancouver, or what is even going to be? What is the goal for us? Where we need to grow in terms of, people. And since I partnered with an American person in the beginning, and then the second one as well, and I didn't close the door for other people's. So I was thinking as a way, like, should I do in Vancouver for myself, or like, no, because I don't want to close the door for me in Vancouver only. Since I live in Vancouver, why not to use the remote part to just expand myself? And that worked really well. I mean, the good thing is, like, from Canada and the United States and the US, there are the same problems. And you go farther, and the same problems. You go Asia, and they are the same problem, but they are, they don't spend that much of money that the American does, right? Or Canadian does. In terms of, like the education in North America is totally different than in the rest of the world. No talk about Latin America. I wish sometime we can go there, but yeah, it's another world. But yeah, that's why I didn't close the door in Vancouver area, which I love Vancouver. I have my most of the people that I met is in Vancouver, but not only in Vancouver. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marjorie, let's talk about your community. So, when did it start, and what motivates you to start your community, and what is the name of it? Yes.
Yes, the community is called Latinx in Tech Toronto. It is for like the GTA. So if you're familiar, there is some cities about up to an hour away that are a part of Toronto, the GTA. So people come from out of town. We started in 2018. Honestly, it was just kind of I started to see like I felt like I wasn't really meeting a lot of Latinos in tech, which is really weird. And I was like, there has to be Latinos in tech. Like, where are we? And then I started to go to like more design events, and it just kind of like started bubbling from there. So I went to one event, and someone introduced me to someone from he's from Venezuela. His name is Eduardo, and I was like, hey. What do you think if we do a Latinx and tech, community? He's like, cool. That sounds good. Like, there's nothing like that at that time in Toronto. Like, there was tons of different groups popping up. He's like, yeah, I'm on board. I'll help you. I'm like, great, because I don't even know how to start. So he came on board, and then like the next week I went somewhere else, and then I pitched it to this other person, which is Claudia, and she's from Peru. I'm like, hey, I have someone from Venezuela who wants to help. Do you think you want to get on? She's like, yeah, I'll help you. So it was a three of us, and it just happened like in a span of like less than a month. Um, so then we started out with at that time in-person events, and then during COVID, we shut it completely down. None of us did anything, and just recently we came back with a virtual event. Just because we wanted to, the topic was really important. I wanted to expand it to more people, but the reason why I started it, why I thought I felt more like I wanted to meet more people in the industry, especially in Toronto. And then also I think something that we haven't been able to kind of a goal that we haven't been able to meet yet is that it's really funny how like the newer generations, they're always on their phones, they're always on their computers and all that. But when I start talking about the work that I do, they're like, oh, this is a job. And it just boggles my mind that there's like a disconnect between who's behind the products that they're using and what are those positions. So one of the things that I still want to do at some point is kind of go to like high schools or like and kind of talk about these different careers that are available to them, because I think people don't really, I think if you start talking to people who's kind of stumbled into UX, they don't really know it existed or what what different types of paths they can take, right? So it would be nice to be able to go to high schools in some way, shape, or form and be like, hey, there's UX researchers, there's product managers, and I think engineers are probably more common because of Google, but like designers and I don't know, all the different people that are involved in creating a product, right? And I think it would be great because that way we have more Latinos kind of entering the field a little sooner because they're already familiar with it and they kind of could decide what kind of careers they paths that they want to take in college or university. Yeah.
Love it. Yes. What about you, Luis?
Okay, well, my path towards Calgary UX is a bit different. There are two reasons for that. One is I didn't found it, and yeah, I just let's say I'm part of a continuous legacy of leaders that have maintained this community for over 12 years. And it really started as a book club, like actually we did a documentary to kind of like answer that question, right? We were trying to figure out, well, where did this started? What exactly is the beginning, right? So even myself, I wasn't really too aware of its origins, but it was until 2009, somewhere in December, when the leadership decided to refresh the team, and I came in with a group of other colleagues that wanted to collaborate and lead the community. But yeah, let's say COVID happened. We were in a situation where quite a lot of us were not able to really attend the community and life and work and everything. So yeah, at the end of the day, I stick around long enough to be here for almost 3 years and 10 months. And yeah, it has been a fantastic ride because when I came to Canada, obviously I came by myself. I came in 2008, right on time for the crisis. So it was a tough period, and it really took me a while before I was able to say, okay, I can finally think about other things than just find work, find food, shelter, and somewhere that is not extremely cold and expensive. And yeah, at the end of the day, I really feel like the continuation of all those experiences that I learned from being here new and also being in Spain and not knowing everybody, and yeah, trying to accelerate that for others is a really good kind of like a blueprint from for everything else that we're doing here, right? So at the end of the day, I really don't want to make it feel like I was the founder, because also erases the idea that there's going to be another leader coming up soon. And a good part of what we should be doing is fostering the next generation so they can take over and do their own thing on their own rights.
Love it. And I love the stories because at the end of the day, we're all for the same, yes, like in different proportion and different ways. Even though, like you said, you didn't found this, but you have found it in their own way and your own style. So that is a little bit of it too. Something I think that at least again for us, based on what we said about what is community, that have helped us a lot. But how that really, like, if you can tell me exactly how the community have helped you so far. And I feel like it could be like in a personal way and professional way, even though that I know that for a lot of us, the communities are for tech and UX. But how exactly your community have helped you to grow personally and professionally? And I just go back to you, please.
Okay, well, it has been an amazing way to not only test your skills as a designer or as a leader or as a person, as a mentor, you name it, like being exposed to so many different circumstances and logistics that involve into either making a in-person event or live event like we're having right now. It really puts quite a lot of circumstances that you will not normally face, right? So I think those are the kind of things that make us way more resilient, but also way more human, right? Because same thing during the COVID times, yeah, I get to hear quite a lot of stories of other community members that were struggling, right? And we also try to be very empathetic to anybody that is coming in new or trying to be a designer from another career, and all of this really gets to impregnate quite a lot of the ideas and creativity that other people brings, right? So in my case, I have the fantastic vantage point to see people just starting on and then starting their next job and then moving on. And it's really fantastic because you get to experience all of that almost without really doing anything, just being there for them. So yeah, it really sinks quite a lot of the values that you try to foster. And at the same time, it makes you way more aware of, okay, other circumstances that need to happen to protect those values, right? So it's never ending, constant process of wondering, okay, what is next? Okay, what needs to happen? What is going to it's really fantastic. At the same time, it's just kind of like a never ending sort of activities that that you like, and they also cannot wait for you to be completely rested. So it's really lovely.
I feel like in everybody's mind here is like I'm always thinking what is next. Yes, like right now I'm here with you three, but it's like I already have in my mind, oh, next week I'm going to talk about this and I have to be worried about this other thing. Is like what they haven't messaged me. There is always something continuously happen. And I think something that all of us need to remember to people who is listening to this is we're doing this because we like. Yeah, this is no one is making millions of dollars for any of this yet. I would say yet. No, don't make that. I believe it. We're going to be making money of this at one point. But yeah, we do this because we are passionate about not just about our growth as a person and as a leader, but you were saying, Luis, like the people who's coming and is like you can see them being excited about their careers and maybe finding the job. What about you, Marjorie? How have you seen that personal growth and professional growth?
Yeah, I think for me, the growth I've experienced, like you said, Luis, is like putting on these events. 100%. It really stretches you, and getting all organized and kind of like, in a way, designing that experience, like what's it going to be like, who are we going to bring, what do we want to teach, what are people saying to us. Like, I remember Claudia had a great idea at the beginning. On the first event, we had like a board, and people would put like sticky notes about things that they wanted to see next. And we went through them, and that kind of gave us ideas of like, what do people need to learn, or where they're feeling like they have gaps. We also asked them like, what are some things you think you could share about, you could share with the community. So maybe we would have them as guests and things like that. So it's great because you start to like, you grow by like sharing all these ideas, you learn from different ways of working. And then professionally, like, you're building all these, this network, these connections. And then if you come often, or like in our community at the beginning it was more often, you could build like those relationships, right? With time, you'd be like, okay, I'll see you, in a couple of months at the event again, right? So it's like a little bit more timed. Here we like to schedule things a lot. It's like, we'll see you in. So I think it helps to like kind of have that consistency as well. And then you start building those relationships, and then later when someone works at so and so company, maybe they can help you out, and you've kind of fostered that. It's just not coming out of the blue. So those are the ways that for me it's definitely helped, and also helped me grow as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you a little bit. Like, if you have an example of maybe skills that you have used in the community that are really relatable for work.
I think the biggest one was public speaking. Yeah. In our first event, there's three of us, and we're like, well, can you just talk? And then they're like, no, 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 everybody has to say something. Like, you got to really push it. So that was something really hard for me. Like I mentioned, I was in the Afro Brazilian brand. When I first started that band, I didn't want anybody to see me play. Like, I would play and I'd be so shy. And we would play on the street, like street festivals. So there's tons of people watching you. You can't hide, but somehow I felt like if I put sunglasses, no one would notice that it was me. So that already helped me. But still, you're just playing, you're not talking. When I started to do these events, it was like I had to be pushed even more. Like, you have to talk, you have to enunciate, presence. Like, go out and talk to people. Before, I would never go and like network. I'd be like, what do I say? And now I would just have to go and be like, welcome them. I was like kind of on the other side. And it kind of helped too, because then I would be like, I knew what the people felt like when you go to an event, you don't know anybody. So I would always look for that person that looked like they were alone or looked like shy. And I'd like go up to them like, hey, I'll introduce you to this person, and kind of ease that. So it helped me to kind of be more aware, but also, grow those public speaking skills for me. Yeah.
Definitely, yes. I mean, again, not that I'm good at this, but I do it so much. I do it so much that, again, you just get good at it because you practice and practice every week. So I think when people ask me a lot about how do you start a podcast, it's like, okay, you just put a camera and you just start talking, and you can plan stuff, or you just get guest speakers and they speak for you and you don't have to do much. But again, that's just practice. Yes. What about you, Leticia?
For me, I completely agree with the three of you guys. On top of that, I can say that not public speakers, because I barely speak in public for that. I make other people to talk. Like, you mentors, you need to talk. I don't have to talk. I don't know your skills. You are the good one. I'm not the good one. So for me, I improved my English, I will say, in so many levels, from the speaking, of course, of the writing, of communicating all the time. Like, I think that my level of English now is super clear, clear, is to the point and relevant. Even though in the company I'm working on, I know what to say. I know more than what I have to say. Like, that's I think one of the things that I value the most, because I don't have enough time. So the time that I have is going to be well spent. So that's one of the things that I learned: the communication, be to the point, and the other thing is the organization in my things. I believe that part of me, I know I had to do that, because it's helping here, is I'm growing in so many levels, not only in the process of UX, not in the process of not only in network, but in communication, which is even more important for whatever you want to do. And in the personal level, I am achieving what I want. I mean, what my biggest dream is to help people, because I feel happy like helping people. Not only, you know, like UX is nice, it's really nice to be UXer, but being the other part, being you know, the maker of the mentor or you know, like bring those mentors who teach so many people, and it feels so good. So that's what paid me every day, I believe. And again, yeah, we are not doing million. We are far away to the millions. We are putting a lot of money from our pocket for this dream. Let's be honest. And but yeah, eventually, yeah, if we want to grow, we need your support for all the people, because this is something that is good for everyone in the call, for everyone outside, for everyone in the industry itself. So the way that people can do back is just supporting us, right? Like whatever we do, it's just volunteering, or it's just coming and do some, you know, coffee thing or whatever, or yeah, just extend the hand. So I believe that's
Love it. And oh, thank you, Leticia. Yes, I just figured out Leticia is again. Honestly, and I feel like when you talk to a lot of people about how to grow from skill, build something. I think that building something and throw yourself into it, even if you don't know how to do it, is going to teach you a lot. And I think for me, being able to plan, loving to talk to people like you, Leticia, were saying, I don't need to talk. I just invite people that I think that are going to great and bring them over. So there's a lot of people, a lot of ways for people to grow and grow their skills is like just volunteer for any of these organizations. They're always looking for people to help. I will put the organizations somewhere here, so don't worry. But I think a question that anyone have always are the struggles. Yes, the struggles are always the big ones. And it's like, how do you keep a community motivated, and how do you make sure that they keep coming? Yes. So I'm going to start asking individual questions because we have a couple of questions. So who wanna answer these ones? So how do you keep engaging with the community? How you keep it moving? Leticia, yes, go for it. Oh, yeah.
we have a lot of volunteers, by the way. No, for what, how we keep people engaged, we track, we started doing events, a lot of events. One here and there, we have design challenges, and the engagement grows significantly. So we stopped doing events, to be honest. We were more focused on what they really matter, what they really like, which is those activities where they are really going to absorb skills. And that's definitely what we are doing currently. We prefer to have something that is more related to, you know, hands-on activities, learning programs that we only offer. We're still gonna grow in that direction. So that's and then the other part that we are doing is like, people will come here and interact with others, not only for networking, but because of learning, right? If there is the core value of us is the mentors. So if a good mentor will provide the right skills, they will keep coming and they will keep growing organically, because this is 100% organic.
Love it. So yes, I feel like what is the next challenge or the next activity that is coming for you?
Don't have yet. I cannot public it yet because not yet. I cannot. it's not defined 100%. I cannot promise nothing. But we're working in interview mocks individually for recruiters, and next year I cannot say when, But next year is going to be a design challenge with companies. So I'm working on that. We're working on that too.
Love it. Okay, you said it. You didn't want to say it and you said it. Okay. Uh, what about community values? And I think this is something that a lot of people maybe at the beginning don't put the two things together. Is like, what are my values and what kind of values should be reflected in a community? And this is a big one because when we look at values, we should be looking at values like at work, friendships, relationships. So I feel like having those values written and be specific to whoever is coming is really important. So, what are the core values that your community have? Okay, yeah, Luis.
Uh, Well, okay, we have a couple of things going on here because one of the things that we try to do at Calgary UX is try to modify the way the city thinks about design and innovation. And the challenge is that since we have quite a lot of generations that are trying to decipher what is the way to interact with the community, we normally find that the repetition of our values is the best way that we can put them across, and then acting on those values in a way that it's quite visible, right? So we have this overall overarching mission, which is creating better human connections. And then the first step is be trust, well, be kind, build trust, which is basically trying to build those relationships between people. We think that if we narrow down to the people level and people build friendships and relationships, that's what's really going to build the next step, which is creating spaces for collaboration. And this is something that was really lacking around the city, and now it has been flourishing. It's just that before we couldn't find the spaces. I mean, people were getting together in bars and stuff, and now we have multiple venues that we can just get together. And obviously, having that opportunity to get together on LinkedIn or uh, well, sorry, Zoom or anywhere digitally, I think that also helped us a lot. And next step is working on collaboration. So for us, it's just like a design is a verb, just try to apply it, right? You learn something new, try to apply it. You find anybody that you like to work with, try to find a project and so on, right? So it has these three steps that really foster everything that we try to build. And yeah, it's just those values are have been core. And I think if there is a way for us to really show it everywhere, I think we are going to be printing shirts and do anything to make them more available.
I love it. And I think that what I like about this is that sometimes people they are not in good spaces at work or good spaces in family or friends. And when you come to communities that bring you that space that is safe, where you can be vulnerable, when you can collaborate, it's like, okay, these spaces exist. I can access to them. And when you start around people that value the same, they're going to guide you to get to those spaces that you deserve and you can be. So love it.
And
Okay.
well, on that, those spaces also dictate most of the time the dynamics, right? Like if you're in a quiet place, most likely you're going to be quiet, right? But if you're in a welcoming, very inclusive place, you're going to start applying that too. So yeah, quite a lot of what we design is the experience around the space.
Love it. And I think this makes me go to the next one. And I think this is good for Marjorie because I'm going to talk about what it is diversity and inclusion. And I was thinking for you, the three of you to think, but I want anyway for the three of you to think how many Latinx people are working at your job currently. Um, yeah, how many?
Myself. Nobody else. In my
Yeah,
previous jobs as well. And my previous, if I were to think back, yeah, I don't think I've ever worked with another Latino or Latina. Yeah.
what about you, Leticia? How many people? How many Latin?
I do. I have Latinos in my community. I have.
No, no, in your work. At
I
at
have
work.
my boss is Venezuelan. She's the best. It's the best to have another Latino in the team, and it's your manager. Then I think no. Just So good, so good. And there are a PM as well. Is Colombian.
Well,
So
lucky.
good. Yeah, Alira is super cultural. It's very cultural, and we have a Latino time as well in the company. It's super nice culture.
Okay.
Okay.
What
What
about you,
about you,
Luis?
Luis?
How many
How many
people?
people?
How many Latinx?
I would say maybe 2% is not really that
Really
common,
that
at least on
common,
my
at least
project,
on my project.
2% of how much?
of the population, right? So, I mean, I haven't done a good research, but let's say out of 100 people, I can count two. So that's how I got my percentage.
I was going to say the same. And like thinking about my previous job, that it was really diverse. I was the only Latinx in my department, and in this one too, I feel like there is another Latinx person, but they're not on tech. So going with this, the question goes more about what is the power of diversity and inclusion for community health, and why for you, Marjorie, was so important to have a community that reflects Latinx in tech.
Why it was important to have that reflect at the workplace or in the community? Sorry, I missed that.
In the community, yes.
In the community. Yeah, I think because at that time there was a lot of events where it was open to everybody, and think because of those, thankfully I met the co-founders of the group. But I think it was important to kind of see each other and kind of be in that same room because like I said, I felt like it was only me. Like I was thinking back at my other jobs, it was only me. It was like it's just impossible that there's not more of us. So just kind of being together in the same room, and not everybody was an engineer or designer, but they were still working on a product, or they're working on websites, or doing marketing for a product. And so we got to kind of talk about all the different ways that we would collaborate at work and things like that, and just kind of seeing each other in those roles. It was like, oh great, like you're a manager here, or this person's a designer, and this you start to see kind of where everybody's at. And then it's funny because then little by little you're like, okay, I know someone that's Latino that works in so and so place, and Latina that works over here, and you can start connecting people too, which I think is really nice, right? You're like, okay, like you said, Leticia, like it's nice to have that representation, that person that kind of understands the other side of you, so you can be like, talk to someone like Leticia. She's a designer, but she just immigrated, a couple years ago, and she's starting a community. You might find somebody that wants to do something similar to Leticia. You can like you know connect them, and then it's just like that right amount of experience that they have in common, that that creates that beauty, right?
Love it. Okay. So, one of the things that is more powerful, that is the most powerful thing for communities and building anything, is collaboration. Again, no one that is here right now can do it alone. So, how collaboration have leads to innovation, and have you partnered up to other communities, organizations to amplify the impact? And what has been the outcome, and what have you achieved? Anyone?
I could start with that because our last event, I actually partnered with somebody I worked with before. She has a product consultancy called ExploreX, and we had been talking about the our current the industry so far has been a lot of layoffs this year. People are looking for new work, and they go through hiring kind of processes. So I collaborated with her to be able to do an event about navigating hiring, dismissals, and layoffs. Now, the reason why I partnered with her was because we had worked together in the past. She was excited about the Latinx community. She liked that she had access to this group, and we felt like a lot of there was reports that people who were underrepresented groups were the ones that were being laid off a lot of the time. So she supported me with also with like sponsorships, things like that, because we did giveaways and things like that. So in the sense, it helped a lot to be able to have like a different view, different perspective come in. And then she also helped organize and all that. So it really took a lot of, we shared that weight, especially coming back after COVID. and having to do something like a lot. It was actually an online event. I hadn't done anything. She had done something like that. So that partnership definitely helped kind of fill in those gaps. And then we had it open to more to like just anybody. It didn't have to be Latinx, of course, because it affected a lot of different people. But that collaboration was really interesting and fun for me because it helped fill in those gaps and create a new type of event.
Love it. Leticia, I wanted to talk about the last event that I participate because it was here in Vancouver, and that was a great collaboration between different organizations.
Yeah, it was a really good one. It was a very first in-person hackathon we did in Emily Carr. We did partner with Emily Carr and Descan. Descan is a non-profit organization across Canada that they certificates designers, not only Canadian, but they also worldwide, which is good. And that's what we have done until now. Nothing to report next yet. But yeah, no, that was a really good one. And you have been the mentor there, along another great mentors, and those people were 50 people, 50 students are, like 16 from Emily Carr, and the rest are, self-taught and other bootcamps students came in that. It was really nice. And on partnering with other, I'm not partnering with communities, but we are partnering with other ones. Our Jade, for example, is a researcher tool, and other different tools or programs are like sharing values the same. So again, partnering or collaboration is extremely beneficial, not only for communities, but for the whole ecosystem.
Definitely, we as a designers cannot do any job by ourselves. We need like a whole troop beside us. Okay, so let's finish it with this. A lot of people think, how do I do this? Where do I start looking? Like, how do I start? So if you could give one advice for someone, I'm just cutting it to one advice. Okay, so if you can give to an advice to someone who wants to start a community, what they can do. Luis, I feel like Luis, you're kind of prepared there. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I was completely unprepared. So my advice is a follow-up with me. Send me a message. I'm very excited about whatever you're building, if you are building a community. And I think maybe that's actually the best advice I can give, right? I think even between community leaders or organizers, whenever we talk to each other, we discover something new. And then we share tools, and then we share resources. And it's always kind of exciting because it's kind of like, hey, I had the same problem, but I had a different solution. So if there is a way for you to kind of like skip the line and solve all the problems that you're going to have way ahead of time, fantastic, right? Because everybody will benefit out of that. So hey, reach out to me, reach out to Juliet, reach out to Marjorie, reach out to Leticia. I think that's going to be the best way for you to go ahead in life, right? But in lack of better answers right now, I will stick with that one.
And I will say this is how exactly we all met. Yes, this is exactly how we met. And what I like, again, because we are not making any money and no one is stealing money from anyone here.
Yeah.
This has been the power of the community, that we really don't mind if you sit down with me and you tell any one of you, hey, how I can do this better, what I shouldn't do. We are going to be down to tell you the truth, and it's not easy. But Marjorie, if you can tell one thing to someone who's starting a community.
I would say that definitely do it. I think you shouldn't. I think one of the things I would tell myself, even going back, is like, I really think when we started the group with like 3 founders, it was great because you have that support. If you because if you do like monthly events or whatever the cadence is, it could get tiring. It is a lot of work to balance it out. So having someone or two more people or whatever you feel best with, it helps, ease the load, and you can support each other. And then just to add to that, I would say definitely, we were talking about, us putting in, our own monies, but try to find sponsorships. There is a lot of people. That's something I learned. Claudia, actually taught me that a lot. She'd be like, hey, right away, let's put a sponsorship package together. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, and then we got that set up, and we were able to get some funding for, like, snacks, the water, the space. Right now, since people have, kind of reopened with events, there's a lot of venues that will help you out. So don't feel like you have to take on that, all of that financial kind of burden on yourself. There is companies out there willing to help. So find yourself a good co-founder to help support you, and then also get yourself some funding, because it will go a long way, and it'll keep you kind of motivated too, and it won't tire you out, right? Yeah, that's it.
Love it. What about you, Leticia?
Well, 100% I like what you guys said. I love the way that you mentioned, Marjorie, that the co-founder, find a good co-founder. I'm gonna say one thing here. I didn't have the good co-founder at the beginning. I didn't have a good co-founder after, but now I'm extremely happy what I have. Like, she's absolutely happy with this partnership that I have, a relationship that is beyond that the community. That is a really good bond that we have with Padma. So this is a really good thing that I am. If you don't know where to start, if you don't have a co-founder, just start your own. Be consistent. Go put time. I mean, whatever you need to do in your life, you just put a time and start doing it. Even though if you have all the problems in the world, doesn't matter. Just do it next week better. Next other week better. The other week better. Don't stop. You can stop. You can do some, like relaxed time, but be consistent. The more you do, the better, and the faster you will get there. And on the go, in my opinion, in my experience, I learned what I have to, all my business skills, all my skills that will put me here in the position where ITER UX is today. And my whole team, we have 38 volunteers constantly. And why is that? Because of the founder and the foundation we bring, the two of us together. When I was a mom, I couldn't work, and she was the whole life. I mean, she was ITER UX life, and maybe not all of the people knows her, but she's incredible good. And it just weren't. It just that it was organic, like that relationship as any community should be like that, and any single relationship should be organic. That they want to be here for a certain reason, beside the money, right? Because it's not gonna happen.
Okay, so for real, to finish up, so you're going to tell me the name of your community, where to find it, and yes, just that. So Leticia, let's get back to you.
Okay, my website is iterux.com. You can go there and you can read what we have there, our mission, what about us, read about all of us or our programs. We have Discord server where you can join for free. There is happening currently design challenges where it's already on track, so nobody can join there anymore. But and yeah, I mean, you can find me in LinkedIn if you want. Leticia Serrano is literally my how do you slash LinkedIn slash whatever. So yeah, that's all. And this is the logo. I just have that the t-shirt because not for this I just have it there. So yeah, join us if you need. By the way, we are looking for mentors, and we had open application for mentors for UX UI research, and yeah, that's what we have.
I was thinking the same thing, prepare with the t-shirt and everything for publicity or marketing. Marjorie, what about you?
All right. You can find Latinx in Tech on LinkedIn, probably on Facebook too. But I usually just, if you should join one, you'll get the same thing on the other. Just duplicate that. You can find me on LinkedIn. Marjorie Castro is my handle. And what else was there to add? I forgot. Was there anything else? Yeah, definitely. Like right now, our next event will be in the fall. It will be in person, and we actually want people to volunteer, mostly to just walk around the room and find all those shy people and befriend them. So if you're up for that challenge, send me a message because we'll probably need about 5 to 10 people, and we'll do something in the fall to just kind of get together again. That's it.
Love it. Luis.
Well, I wasn't ready to bring a shirt, so I'm just going to kind of like put a sticker, so that's my. We don't have money for swag, that's for sure. But you can find us. Hey, maybe we should get a
Sponsor.
UX shirt. I will
This
go, I
was
will
for
go.
my pocket, by the way.
Okay. I will go to Vancouver, pick it up. That's a promise. Well, you can find us obviously in Calgary. I mean, not exactly, let's say, around the corner, but you can find us in the city. Also, we are in calgaryux.com, and Meetup is our, let's say, way for us to manage the events. We have a very good community on Slack. And yeah, we are very active on LinkedIn. We are not longer active in X or whatever it is. And yeah, I think the best way for me to find me is either on LinkedIn or on the ADP. I think the ADP list profile, it helps me a lot to really channel quite a lot of the questions and meetings. And yeah, if you have some time and you want to spend your afternoon watching some of the videos that we have a Calgary UX channel in YouTube. So hopefully you can get some value out of that too.
And you will find me there if you go to Calgary UX. You will
Oh,
find
yes.
me. So
Twice.
you have 2 more people that you can invite. I didn't talk too much about my community because this was all about you, but I cannot go away without talking about Cherry on Tech. So Cherry on Tech is a volunteer organization that will empower women, non-binary, and trans folks to get into tech. Right now, we are looking for mentors. Come on. I need some mentors. We need some developers and we need some product managers to help us out. Our next cohort starts on September 9 and is going to be for 13 weeks. The cool thing is we get a tech squad together, product managers, UX designers, and developers, and they build an end-to-end product. So by the end of the 13 weeks, they will have a clickable product that they can share with people. But most than anything, they're going to be building great community on their tech squad. The tech squad is going to be that people that is going to help you and empower you to grow in your career. There you go. This is Cherry on Tech. Thank you, the three of you, for helping me here and sharing about how is to build community in Canada as a Latinx. So, yes, take care.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us. Take
Thank you
care,
for
everyone. Have a good
It's been a
weekend.
pleasure.